this is like a very contentious issue. So I've come up with the back aware belt, so it gives you feedback so that you can kind of maintain your position. So generally with the neutral spine, I'm looking at like fully arching your back, fully rounding, and the idea that being somewhere in the middle is the safest position. I think for the majority of people, that is the best way to lift. Like, that's the best way to lift. It keeps, you're not in your extremes. If you think of like a finger, if I like went all the way back or all the way flexed and then try to do something, the range for error is way less. If you go to the, if you took your shoulder and pulled it all the way back, the range for like error or pain is way less. If you're in the middle, say on your back or say in any joint, you can move a little bit left and right and to stabilize. That is not to say that if someone isn't in a neutral spine, examples are like, say, you know, powerlifters are lifting those boulders, they're rounded. But generally what they do is their musculature is so strong that they lock into that position. So what you don't want to do is what a lot of people do, say squatting. They start and they're in this like arch position because the core isn't, so they're going into an anterior pelvic tilt because the core isn't able to fire. So they're getting their stability from their back muscles, their hip flexors. But as they go down, because the hip has to actually move, they can't hold the stability there. So then they go from that to the other extreme where they kind of go into that butt wink and they round. That is dangerous. It's just like, that's like biomechanically, that's the movement through a range under load is a thing that can cause issue. It's not to say that there isn't cases where if people have strong musculature, they can kind of really go into any position. If the muscles are strong enough, you can move. It's not to say that you're not allowed, you shouldn't be having a range when you're like you shouldn't have flexibility in your back to move, or that a back doesn't adapt over time. But for the majority of people, that's why I have the back aware belt. It's not like they're choosing to round but doing it in a safe position. It's like they have no awareness or control of their back when they move. And I've seen way more people, I lifted this poorly, or I wasn't aware of this position and then this caused the bulge, than I do, like I actually chose to go into more of a posterior pelvic tilt, or I chose to round but I really held it in a good position like a Jefferson curl. What do you think about it? That was my rant on it.